transmission I received from Dr. Wells.
Thank the Lord you warned me. I was able to get some defenses up, but they might not be enough. The board has sent some serious firepower to pry me out of here. They're trying to get in here, and I'm not sure I can stop them. If they capture me, if we can't communicate again, there's something very important you need to remember. The board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate swine. You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital lab to check on your associate as soon as possible. How can I be of assistance?
Hello, ladies and gents. There you go. That was... As soon as I walked into the cockpit after the last episode, luckily I hit the... I should have got most of that. I hit my record quick enough, so now we got to go back to the lab. Alright, back at his lab. Probably threw out the last of my perks. Uh-oh. Get some! Woo! I care for those shock cannons, just never did all that much for me. Alright, and to get into Phineas's lab, you gotta come over here. You gotta find the password. Here we go. 788 is Phineas's farce, which I think is another science weapon. Oh, look at that. That's right. You gotta go to the cyst pig. That's where we get that passcode. Tartarus, I think that's where we go next.
Captain, if you're looking for crew members Ellie or Felix, they're sharing it. Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it, air some concerns.
Well, folks, I ain't exactly keen on busting into a prison, but riddling board stooges with bullets does sound like a ride and a half.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth, but that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain.
Ornery board goons and one-ply toilet paper for starters. But I hear their brainwashing program's state-of-the-art, so I guess you get used to it.
Still, we can't do nothing. It wouldn't be right.
The armed surveillance protocols on a maximum security prison planet are highly sophisticated. As such, escapes are historically quite impossible and deadly. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me, I know.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
So we already asked the crew. Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff I gotta sell, so...
We gonna prepare? Sure. Guess I could give my ass-kicking boots another coat of polish. You got some sort of plan in mind?
There we go. We go in, we kill everyone between us and our goal.
Straightforward and simple. Sounds like our best bet.
Alrighty, so I just need to go and sell off some stuff, upgrade my stuff real quick.
Sending a corrupted
Hold on
tracking signal
one
to the board
second.
was quite
Alright, here we go. You are about to assault the Labyrinth on Tartarus and determine the fate of the Halcyon colony. If there's anything you want to do before you enter the prison, do it now before you cross the point of no return. Would you like to continue? Yes.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths, including but not limited to executions, are as follows: 1,684. Resident escapes are as follows: 0. The interior can be chilly. Take a scarf with you, Captain. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me, in the event that you do not return.
Nah, because she might take off without me.
Understood. If you die or are incarcerated for life, I can generate a new ID for the next captain. I would prefer if you return, though. Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison's docking authority now.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is an explicit violation of UDL corporate policy. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized, at which point your vessel will be seized and you will be executed.
You know, what is it with you jerks and your stupid landing violations?
I'm sorry, you people? Did you just cast a generalization on upstanding UDL employees? That's a fine of 200 bits.
Ooh.
You're up to 5,708, not including the cost of your execution and the disposal of your remains, which will be assessed posthumously. Protocol is important, sir. The sentencing of one crime does not preclude the sentencing of another, technically speaking. Tartarus Docking Authority signing up. Hang on. Looks like you're gonna have company at the execution. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the Groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that. Just have a pleasant day.
Woohoo!
Transmission terminated. How can I be of assistance? May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck does not exist. But it seems to comfort humans to believe they possess good quantities of it.
Alright, so what I haven't told you guys is now that we're going into the final battle, everybody we freed and helped is going to help us make it to Phineas. So, let's get some. And before we start shooting everybody, just to give you guys a quick overview of my character here at the very end. So, long guns, heavy guns is what I went heavy in. Didn't put anything into defense after we did, got that little leap ability dialogue. You can see, now I would have been able to mess with that dude if I would have got my bonuses, but I didn't. But you can see that, and then I took this one all the way to 50, which is the stealth, and then tech as well, medical science. The higher you get to science, the more you can upgrade your armor. The cheaper it is to do upgrade your armor and your weapons, and then inspiration was just 20. So, all right, here we go.
The captain did right by us once. The board
What was that?
will never own Groundbreaker. Not mine. Push on, my guys.
Important thing in this part is that these guys do most of the work. Why is he coming at me? Oops, I must have killed the wrong people. Oh well. Happens. Getting a whole bunch of goodies.
Incoming!
Man, those x-rays just chew you up.
Deft hands, Cap.
Something's not right.
Okay.
Wish I could do that.
I'm gonna go give you guys an idea of what you can get in this last area, in case you need it. A RAM, 3 columns, but only one is legible, the rest have been stretched out. Cade, huh? Katie? I don't know. And after this mission, I think the game just shuts off. See, you saw at the beginning, you want to make sure you have everything done.
What use does a prison have for bars when it's got a storm like that guarding the gates?
I've got to admit, I'm not too keen on walking into a prison. They lock me up, I'm liable to kill everyone trying to get back out.
Can't argue with you two. Both got the best armor. Alright.
Whew. We have a lot of shooting to do, Captain.
Sublight has arrived. Hey, kid. A little bird told me you could use our help. I said I owed you one, and I always pay my debt. We're not about to leave on favor.
What the fuck? All right.
Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
That way. Oh. Oh. Oh, there was more than one way. Oh, here we go. Okay, otherwise I think we come out on the other side.
Sublight has arrived. Hey, kid. A little bird told me you could use our help. I said I owed you one, and I always pay my debt.
Ooh, more guys. If you try to go through the center, it can get real rough. So, we can get through this way. Here we go. Alrighty, and yeah. Nothing of interest really there. I got a whole bunch of stuff here in case you guys are low on ammo, which I am kind of getting. Really? Why isn't this thing? Why isn't my gun doing anything? That doesn't make any sense. God, free. Really? Alright, now to the next area. Should be full of guys. We just need to find a defendable position. That's the hard part. Gonna make it to that door. And I think we need to make it up there. I'm not sure. Plenty of guys over there.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight! Take down! Take them down!
Now, if I want my girls to accompany me to the next level, I gotta kill all the... Oh, no, they came up. Okay, cool. Whew, all right. Whew. Okay. This is the way we need to go. Okay. Now for the next part.
Here they come!
Open fire!
Look out, Captain! Captain, are you okay?
I love a good fight.
Whew. That was a little rough. Almost out of ammo. Better hope we make it.
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in him.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable.
Oh, I can't wait to kill him.
It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man. I've got work to do.
Yeah. So I have a bad attitude and I just fixed everything.
That's the last of them.
Interesting. Oh, we should be getting close here, hopefully. We gotta make it in there now. Okay. Oh. Here we go. That armor doesn't seem any better. The other stuff I was using seemed better. Oh well.
We're really doing this, huh?
Yes,
Take
we
a breath
are.
now, folks. Once we're up there, I suspect we ain't gonna have time to stop shooting.
Yeah, you're probably right. There we go. As you can see over there on the left, doing that, give him a little bit more juice.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life.
Huh?
You've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, he was prepared. I lost good soldiers in the attempt.
You're gonna lose more.
You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. I'm afraid I can't do that. You have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, you would have been the greatest fixer Halcyon has ever seen. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony. In that we are in agreement. An end to violence is precisely what I want. An end to chaos. An end to senseless loss of life. The only obstacle standing in my way is you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option. Leaving you alive is too great a risk.
Of course.
Goodbye, Captain.
About time.
If you insist.
Yep.
This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Okay, so what happens if you go back to Byzantium? And when we were there a few episodes back, I showed you guys where her office was. You can actually go into that office, kill her, and then you don't have to fight her here. You still have to fight this mech thing right there. But shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, you got some nimble fingers, Captain.
See if we can... Oh, no. Gotta have 92 to hack that bad boy. Okay. We are good. That's right. That's what I did now. See, even right here, did I hit you that one time? These other things can't get in. Yes, it is. Come on. We're almost there. There we go. Now we just got to get the small stuff. And they already got it. Alright, now, lady should be, I think, the last one we gotta kill up here.
Why won't you just die?
Wow, you dropped so fast, lady.
Get me out of here!
Alright, folks. So, I think we have a lot of talking, and then it shows what everybody did. The only character I didn't finish the story with was Pavardi here. And I did that just because I wanted to see what happens when you don't complete one story. So, let's do this.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind.
Yep.
And I can't begin to thank you enough.
Welcome.
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, certainly. I'll help however I can.
Alright, so...
Yes, Akande mentioned as much. Earth hasn't sent us a single message in 3 years. No one knows why. Akande had kept the truth to herself, perhaps with good reason. Can you imagine what would have happened if word got out? We'd have utter pandemonium.
Yeah, and folks, that's where the next game, I almost guarantee you, is going to take place. It's going to have to be something with Earth, and we're going to have to go back, maybe. I don't know. But the devs, basically, that's what I think they're doing. They're setting up the next game, which is cool. You know, been hints of it for, like, you know, hints over the last 4, 5, 6 missions. So, what do you think happened?
I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I don't know why Earth's gone silent. I don't even know if Earth exists anymore. We have no connection back to Earth, and return is likely impossible. We're completely alone out here. I wasn't trying to hide the truth from you, but after all you've done, I owe you an explanation. Yes, I experimented on the Hope's colonists. Each of my experiments ended, in catastrophic failure. Each of my subjects died in agony. You are my first and only success. I didn't tell you about the others because I didn't want to burden you. My failures are my own to bear, not yours.
Well.
I'm not asking you to forgive me.
Yep.
Law knows I won't forgive myself, but I'm going to try to set things right. My apologies. I need to get a hold of myself. We've far more pressing issues to worry about right now. If you have any more questions, ask me. I'll answer as best I can.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
I'll help.
When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Bolstered by her status as savior of humanity, Lilia Hagen ushered Sublight Salvage to a new golden age. Her company grew bolder and more transparent over time, muddying the line between lawful and criminal for the entire colony. The Sublight family would thrive for years to come. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. It was said that the first corpse that fed her garden belonged to Reed Thompson.
Yeah, I put
Under
him
the
there.
leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Your influence further cemented Ellie's perspective. She understood she could never truly rely on others, so she set about making sure she wouldn't have to. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She enjoyed a long and infamous career running missions across the system. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail, or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past, and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you.
Hoorah!
No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
And there we go. We've just got the credits. There aren't any more cutscenes or anything. I know, because I already beat the game once. So if you made it to the very end here, thank you so much for supporting the channel with your views and your likes. If you haven't, please subscribe. And keep your heads down, your guns up, and I will see you again in our next adventure.